Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Soul Goals. I'm Dawn, and this is the
Dixie.
delightful Dixie, as I like to say.
Oh, so sweet.
So delightful. It's a beautiful day here in the Nashville, Tennessee area where we are recording. Nice spring
Yes,
action as
it
we
is.
are
I love
getting there.
spring. Oh my gosh, I love spring. And
I
the
do
other
too.
day when we had like the rando thunderstorms,
Mm.
not the floody ones, but like a few days later, I just love how everything feels and looks and how the sun comes out after a spring storm. It's so different than like a fall or a winter.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
It's the
Gosh, yeah.
same sun, but just looks totally different to
Just a
me.
different it's a new perspective. It's a
It
new
is.
day. It's a new time. Yeah,
I
I
was like,
always
this
love
is
spring for that.
beautiful. I just feel like I can breathe or something.
Yeah, until the what they call here in, the Middle Tennessee area, the Death Star, the pollen
Oh, yeah.
Death Star shows up, yeah.
Right.
So, we're in the midst of that where I live with all the trees budding, but
Yes.
I love the blue sky and the trees budding, but
Yeah. And
that
the
brings me to
dogwoods. Oh my
oh my god.
gosh. The
Oh,
dogwoods.
hey, right? We had tree trimmers here this morning, and we have a tree that through one of those storms got split down the middle, started
Mm.
leaning, really, seriously, so that had to be attended to today, and my husband's like, "Hey, trim that dogwood tree up there because it's kind of the corner of one of our buildings," and I
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, don't take too much of it away because it's starting to really be beautiful," so
It is so beautiful. We have a Japanese maple in like off of our back porch,
mhm,
and it blooms. It's blooming. It's fully bloomed right now. We're probably not in the right climate for it, but I just love them because it blooms one time, and then the first time we get like a thunderstorm or a hard wind,
it's like
they're all
gone.
going to go away. But for like a few days anyway, I was like, oh look, and it sits right outside my kitchen window. So yesterday I was like, oh, it's all bloomed.
Well,
So
and that brings me to something like, do you ever buy flowers for yourself and do something just kind of just random to kind of make your environment feel different or make you feel
mhm.
different?
Yes, flowers, candles.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Always,
think
yes.
about like you were talking about it may not be in a season for me to be able to have that tree here, but I like it for the days that it provides me what it provides me. And I feel
Yes.
like I'm all for that. If you feel better by doing that and it makes your mood lifted and it just
Mhm.
helps you elevate yourself, then hey,
Do it.
do it.
Whatever it
Absolutely.
takes, yes.
Yeah.
Buy the flowers.
Yes. Yes. Oh, all day. All
Yeah.
right. Well, so all of the wonderful spring things that we're talking about in the blooming and the coming into this new fruition of life because it's a new season. I want to talk about our senses today. So this episode is called Sensory Balance. And specifically, I want to talk about the senses and how they regulate our emotions. And there is a really great process that I learned quite a few years ago in therapy that has helped me and actually has helped my kids through different things because it's a really easy thing to explain to people. It's about emotionally regulating by grounding into your body, by using your five senses. So the key point here is that when you are under duress or in kind of a fight or flight moment, when you're feeling antsy, when you feel triggered, when something's kind of rising up in you and something's getting ready to like, you know, pop your top, the easiest thing for you to do is go into your body, drop into your body and go, all right, these five senses, what are five things that I can see around me? Then what are four things that I can feel or touch? What are three things that I can hear? What are two things that I can smell? And what is one thing that I can taste? And by going through that five, four, three, two, one on all five senses, it gives you, by the time you get to the end of that list, it gives you this really kind of feeling, like this release kind of feeling of just settling into your body. And I think that's where we tend to go. I know I do. Like I disconnect from myself when I'm in some kind of traumatic, like uneasy kind of space or really kind
Mhm.
of tumultuous kind of emotion, or when something just kind of tends to rattle me.
Mhm.
So it has been super beneficial for me. And our key was to do this throughout the week as we felt triggered, as we felt stressed, and to see what it did for us and how it helped us. So,
Mhm.
yeah, anxious to hear what it was that happened with you this week because before we hit the record, you were giving me some information about some stuff that happened with you this past week. And I'm wondering if this helped you, maybe? I don't
Well,
know.
it did help me. It did bring me back down to eventually laughter, but
Oh, okay.
because middle age is just an odd thing. um and we
You're
do
right.
we're going to discuss in a different podcast, something else we've been doing, but
Mhm.
I just have been kind of very much faced with the middle age aspect of things lately.
Yeah.
And um the 5 4 3 2 1, like with the senses, um when I saw it, I was like, that's going to be hard for me
Mhm.
just to stop
Mhm.
and be like, okay, what do I see? What do I, whatever. So yesterday at work, I was, uh, I've been having work in general has been pretty crazy lately. So all of my things I've been doing have been kind of revolved around work.
Yeah.
And I think what I realized is most of at the end of the exercise, it's just you realize, okay, I'm okay. I'm really,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I'm all
very
right.
yeah.
Nobody, everything's fine. The
Mhm.
world is still spinning and
Mhm.
everybody's fine.
Yeah.
But I was sitting in a desk chair. I was sitting at my desk, and I was sitting on the edge of my desk chair, and in an instant, my chair had come out from under me, and I was wedged in between my chair, a desk, my chair, and the wall. It was just
Mhm.
weird. I was like in a ball. I have some arthritic knees from years of dancing and gymnastics, and and I was young and had an
Mhm.
old ACL injury. So just have scar tissue, some arthritis, whatever. So my knees aren't used to doing what they were forced to do yesterday in a split second.
Oh God.
And I'm really, I mean, I'm active. Like I lift weights, I
Yeah.
walk, I row, and I do all the things, but my knees are always a factor, have been for years. And
Right.
it's just, we all have our whatever. And as I'm sitting there, I'm wedged in. And the first thing that I thought, okay, what do I see? Okay, I see that nobody walked in, so nobody sees me down here on the floor.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then and I was like, okay, I see that I'm unable to move anything that has me wedged in,
Uh-huh.
those kind of things. And then I see that, all right, I'm okay. I'm
Yeah.
breathing. My face is, so I didn't hit my face on the desk, which is probably, I would love to go back and watch security cameras to see how close my face came to that
I
desk. Because
mean,
the first
yeah.
thing my boss said was, did you hit your head? I
Oh,
was like,
wow. Yeah. I
no,
didn't think
because I
about
was,
that.
no, I didn't either, but I was leaned over my desk when the chair came out. So I could have just face
Oh, gone
planted on the
forward. Yeah.
desk, but
Yeah.
I did not. I don't even know
Yeah.
how close I was. I bet the security camera was like, whoa, it's so close. But anyway, so I was like, okay,
Oh,
I'm fine. Everything's
yeah.
fine. And then I see that I can lastly roll out from this situation.
Mhm.
So there was no fire, but I did tuck and roll out between the desk chair, and there was a box under my desk, so I was kind of wedged in.
Yeah.
And I couldn't move the chair because the base of the chair had like was wedged up to the wall, and even though it had
Mhm.
wheels, there was like a little box there, and it couldn't move. So
Mm.
it was just was just stuck.
Oh.
And so I rolled out,
Okay.
um and was on my then now I'm on my my belly, like laying down on the floor because I've rolled out. And then I was like, thank you, functional fitness, CrossFit, because I
Right?
can get myself off the floor because we've
Right.
all done burpees 1,000 times.
Right. Oh,
Thank God
yeah.
for the burpee, because that's how you know you can get off the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yes. So, anyway, those were the what is it, the 5 things I saw. And then the 4 things what was the fourth?
4 things were things that you could feel or you could
Oh,
touch.
well, yeah, I could feel my heart was racing. I could feel that. I felt a little bit of anger immediately because I'm supposed to run in a race on Saturday. And so
Mhm.
that, ironically enough, was the first thing that came to my mind. Like, are you kidding me? I've
Mm.
got to run this race. And then I was like, well, I've also got to get off this floor because I have to go deliver a
You're at
catering
work. You gotta
order.
work. Yeah.
Yes. And then and then I just felt, um, I don't know. I just felt it wasn't peace, but it was just like, okay, I'm fine. I'm off the floor.
Mhm.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then I just stood there and I was like, and I know there's not 5 of these, but I feel old right now.
That's okay. No, there's only 4 things that you feel. So you're good.
Mhm.
You're good.
Yes, I added the old, but and then and then I could hear the restaurant clatter,
Mhm.
I could hear I did not hear a pop in any of my joints, which was
Oh,
great.
you heard, like, silence, that's good.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good. I heard nothing, so
yeah,
that's good. And
yeah,
then and no, and I just heard just my inner voice going, you're strong. You can do you're off the floor. You're good.
yeah.
You're good. And so yeah, I don't remember what the other two were.
Then it was 2 things that you could smell and then 1 thing that you could taste.
Well, I could smell barbecue.
Yeah, where you work. Yes,
Right?
yes,
Smell barbecue. I don't really know what else I smelled, but and yeah, I don't the smell and the taste has me stumped on all of it,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Um
And when
but
I talked to a therapist about that, because the first time I did this exercise and I reported back to her, I was like, I'm not eating when I'm triggered. Like this happened and I was like in my car and I didn't have,
mhm.
and she says, you never so often you get that taste that in your mouth. Like you feel like, and my husband will say it, like, I feel like my teeth have jackets on. Like I need to brush my
Yeah,
teeth
yeah, no,
or
yes.
your mouth is dry
Yeah,
or or you're chewing gum and or you have the aftertaste of something you just ate.
yeah.
So she explained it like that and I was like, well, that seems really counterintuitive to the fact that I'm supposed to be getting in touch with my feelings and my emotions, kind of like what you were describing. And she says, well,
Yeah.
there's two different ways to do this exercise. One is like what you were doing. It's checking in. It's kind of going through the systems of reminding yourself where I'm at, how I'm feeling, what's going on around me in an emotional sense. She goes, and then
Mhm.
there's the tangible sense. So you can use your senses for a tangible situation, like, and when she said it, I was like, this sounds so simple. It just
Yeah.
sounds like, how is this gonna help me? Because I'm in therapy and I'm thinking I have to dive into my feelings and we gotta really dissect all the stuff that's coming up when I
Mhm.
get triggered or when I get angry. And she goes, no, it's more about absolutely pulling you from the ethers up here where you're just reactive and you're kind of whoop, lit up
Mhm.
back
Mhm.
down into a place where you can see everything for what it is and you
Mhm.
have emotional regulation and control over your mind. It's reminding you that you are in control of your thoughts here. You're in
Mhm.
control of where you choose to step next, if you will, from a
Yeah.
tangible standpoint.
Yeah.
So um I used this past week when I was traveling with my younger daughter, and it was a boy, it was hard. You ever have those moments when you're either on vacation or a work trip? And for her, it was her playing her sport. And we were running behind because we're getting off of a plane and the plane was late. Right. And
Yeah.
then it was already an early morning and we had to make a connection. So then we had to go find a rental car, but the tram to the rental cars was broken. So then we
Oh
had to,
no.
oh, it was crazy, crazy amazing. We had to walk probably a quarter of a mile to a shuttle stop and wait in line behind 50 people that were all waiting to be shuttled on buses that they weren't anticipating for the day. So it was just a random weird day. And then
Yeah.
we get to our rental car late, and then it's an hour and a half drive to where we're going for her to get to her practice. We're going to be late. We haven't had a sit down meal since breakfast, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All we've been doing is like snacking because the flight schedule hasn't allowed us to have more than just what we could stuff in our bag to eat
Mhm.
on the way.
Mhm.
And you can imagine by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, middle aged mom and teenage daughter with needing to have food, pretty tired, very impatient, and
Hangry.
angry and hangry. Hangry with a capital H, hangry. And,
Mhm.
we were just snip, 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 snipping at each other. When we got to the rental car, we're on our way to the destination, and you see the ways on the board of the car, and it's like everything is red, and it keeps showing up delay, delay,
Oh,
delay.
that's the worst. I hate that. When you
Yeah.
get in and you're already frantic and then everything goes like yellow and red. You're like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Yeah, totally, totally. And so I'm like this notorious, I'm gonna be there if I'm on time for when it starts, that in my mind is that I'm late
Yeah.
because I like to be early, which is completely crazy. Guys, it's something I'm working on. Promise you
Well,
I'm
hey, I
working
mean, I've
working on
one
it.
of my best friends, dad, he's like my second dad. Um, he's always early, like on time is late for him. There's just people that are just wired that way. I
Yeah.
wish I was sometimes because I'm I feel like when I'm trying to get out the door, or go somewhere, it's hit or miss for me. I'm not
Mhm.
always late. I'm not chronically late, but
Yeah.
I would love it if I could be chronically early.
Well, I think sometimes for me, and my family will remind me of this because it creates a level of stress and in
Mm.
anticipation that really probably wouldn't be present if I wasn't already kind of hyper vigilant about that time and looking at my watch.
Oh yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like I
because
said,
then it's like, well, we're still gonna be on time. It's okay.
yeah, right, right. But this was legitimately like he was gonna be 45 minutes late
Oh
to
yeah.
a practice. Yeah, and the practice was gonna be an hour and a half. So she was gonna miss half of it. But you know what? In the grand scheme of things, we got there safely. It was
Yeah.
late, but by the time we got there and I dropped her and then I went to try to find parking, the world opened up and I feel like God just said, "Hey, I'm going to toss you a bone." And I turned this corner and it was at the beach and I pulled around and I could see the ocean and there was somebody backing out. And I went, "Oh, I can park right here and I can see the water. This is
Oh,
unusual." It was like totally unexpected. I would have
it's
had to park at a
beautiful.
parking garage like 5 blocks away.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, "All right, thank you, universe. Thank you, God. Thank you, Mother Mary, Spirit incarnate, all the things for bringing me that moment." And I realized that my heart rate was still elevated. I was still anxious, even though she had gotten where she needed to be. But the whole idea of being late that much and all of that stuff that was the day was completely out of my control.
Hmm.
Everything about that day. I did everything I could to follow up on my end of things, but sometimes things are out of your control.
Right.
Super huge trigger for me. So I sat
Hmm.
in the car and I went through the 5 things that I see. All right, I see this car that I'm sitting in. I see the tree, the palm tree in front of me. I see the water. I see people walking by on the sidewalk. I see a dog down the way, right? And then I went through 4 things that I could feel. I feel my skin. I'm sweating. It's pretty
Hmm. I'm sweating because I just made it here.
right. Right. I actually put my hand on the dashboard of the car because I was like, "All right, I'm gonna ground myself." And like, I need to be like here because I felt like kind of floating.
Hmm.
Just 4 different things that I could feel around me, like tangible things I could feel. I reached in my bag and got a piece of gum out.
Hmm.
The 3 things that I could hear, I had my window cracked a little bit. I could hear people talking. I could hear traffic, and then I could hear the wind
Yeah.
rustling. Then the 2 things that I could smell was, like, ever get that beach smell? So I put the window
Hmm.
down a little bit
It's
more, and I'm
my
like,
favorite smell in the
"Oh,
world.
yes."
Oh.
I was like, "That made this all so good, and that made
Yeah.
this totally so good."
The
And then I
salty air.
was beautiful, and then I had
Hmm.
just unwrapped a piece of gum so I could smell the gum, and
Yeah.
then the one thing I could taste is the gum I was chewing, and by the
Yeah.
time I got through all of those steps, I mean, literally, it took me 30 seconds to do that, maybe
Yeah.
45 seconds.
Yeah.
So, by the time I did that, I was like, "Alright, I could take a deep breath."
Hmm.
And it was kind of magical. I was like, and I did it from that instead of that emotional standpoint of really having to dig in and think about how I'm feeling, think about what it is that I'm feeling and where it is that I'm at. I
Hmm.
just went completely dense in the whole, I'm going to make it as simplistic as possible. And it really worked to pull me in my body. And that was the thing when I first learned it in therapy. I tried really, I'm the overachiever, right? I'm going
Hmm.
to try everything,
Yeah.
including the bad stuff. I'm going to do that to the nth degree too, unfortunately.
Right.
Hence therapy and a lot of different things along the way. Yeah, but I feel like letting myself off the hook and just doing something simplistically to pull myself back in my body was
Hmm.
extremely helpful. By the
Yeah.
time she got done with her practice, I had texted her, told her I was parked. I sat outside the car for a little bit and I waited for her and she came back and like, she felt better because she had actually moved her body and
Oh
kind of
yeah.
gotten away from each other, and she was like, "Oh, thank God I'm not in that crazy car with that crazy mom anymore." And then I had, like, pulled myself together, and then we had a really nice evening and a little bit of a reflection on, I'm really just glad that I got here and that
Yeah.
I'm here safe and I have this opportunity to play the sport that I love. I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're good."
It's
Yeah,
amazing. I
yeah,
love that. I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
the beach, man. I just feel like the
mm,
beach cures everything. I oh, and I
doesn't it?
saw this has nothing to do with the beach, but it made me think about it when you said you found a parking place and you were facing the beach and it was just
Mhm.
beautiful. And I saw this meme this morning on Instagram that said, instead of I think I've said this before, but I saw it again this morning. Um, that instead of focusing on the things that trigger, I've started looking for what they're calling glimmers. It's
Oh,
the things
yeah.
that like bring you life and make you feel light, instead of getting you like all in a, whatever,
Yeah.
all uptight and anxious. It brings you peace. And when you said I pulled in this parking place and there was the beach and the sun, I was like, she had a glimmer.
Yeah, I did. I did, exactly. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that before as well. And, I interestingly, the other day at the store, it was the checkout lady was having a hard time with the bags, and she had dropped something, and she was like, "Oh gosh, it's just been a day." And then she took a deep I watched her because I'm old school. I was writing a check. Like, who
Yeah.
writes a check anymore? Sorry, I write
I have not written a check in, I can't remember the last time. I had to write one at work,
a
honestly, like a personal check, but I had to write a business check about 2 months ago. And I was like, I don't think I've done this in years.
Oh my god. I am s I am totally old person right there, right?
I love
Old.
that though. That's so
Oh,
funny.
so I'm writing this check and she's clearly flustered, but I kind of look up because she went, took a deep breath and kind of blew it out. And then she kind of came back. I was almost composed. And she was like, you know what? But it's a good day because I'm getting off work in another 30 minutes and look at how beautiful it is outside.
There you go.
And
She
I
did
was like,
it.
wow. Yeah. And I looked at her and said, well, that's great. Like, way to find the good in your day. And
Yeah.
the only reason I said find the good is because the brand that I represent is find the
Uh-huh.
good.
I know,
But
right?
it kind of speaks to what you were talking about, the glimmers,
Mm-hmm.
looking for the good parts of our day versus always going to the negative and always going to where the pendulum swings to the gloom and doom, the what,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, it's
Yeah.
always gonna be negative.
Yeah. And I think too, we're it's more challenging for us to take a minute and like find the positive or see the silver lining, or just take a minute and like you said, do the five senses thing, like to kind of ground yourself again. It's super easy for us to just get very, I mean, I could have just been mad and thrown things and
Yeah.
cussed, and I did go whoop when I fell because I was startled.
Yeah.
But immediately I was like, okay, let me just settle down for just a second
Yeah.
and figure this out. Um, I'm not a rubber band man anymore, but
Right.
I'm more like a tin man.
That's okay. That's all
um,
right.
and so I don't know. I just if everybody, you don't have to do like the whole five things, four things, three things, but if you just took a second, like
Yeah.
like your cashier did, and go, okay, let's find some perspective. It takes like 5 seconds.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm getting off work. I'm gonna have a great night. I have a job.
Yeah.
I'm going home to somewhere where I'm out of the elements. If it's hot outside, I can be cool inside. If it's cold outside, I have heat inside. I
Yeah.
have food in my cabinet. Like, what's happening right this instant is just annoying. It's
Mhm.
not going to shape my day.
Mhm. I remember, gosh, my oldest was how old? Like 4 months old. I had just started back to work, and I was personal training full time at that point. Like, I mean, I dropped her off in her car seat in her pajamas at 5 in the
Yeah,
morning
I
and
bet your
saw my
personal
first
training,
client.
like,
Mhm.
people do that before they go to work in the morning.
Yeah. And met my first client, like, at 5:15 or 5:30, and
Yeah. Wow.
I remember after about a month of that, and I'm sleep deprived anyway, I
Yeah,
remember,
right.
gosh, it
Babies.
was horrible, yeah, it was at lunch, and I went into our break room, and I sat in the back, and I just laid my head down on the table, and I just started sobbing. I was just exhausted. I was
Oh,
so tired, and one of my coworkers walked in, and he was like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Is the baby okay? Like, is everything?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm just overwhelmed, and she's having this, but it's nothing just catastrophic, and she wouldn't sleep, and I'm a new mom, and I like can't." All the things just came rolling
mhm.
off my tongue, and he was like, "All right, take a deep breath. We're gonna figure this out. My wife is a nurse at this place. We're gonna call her. She's gonna say we're gonna get you in." Like, I needed somebody to kind of help me figure
Yeah.
out it's okay, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "And then you're gonna call your husband and you're gonna say, 'Hey, I just need a night. to sleep? Can you get up with the baby and like I just can you just gift me one full night?" Because what we had been doing is alternating because we were both working full time.
Yeah, yeah, and you have to help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it was I was getting every other night, and I just needed like 2 nights in a row of just
Mhm.
8 to 9 hours of sleep.
Mhm.
And of course, that was nothing for I just had to ask my husband for that. And he's
Sure,
like,
sure.
"Yeah, yeah, okay.
Of
Yeah, for
course. What do
sure."
you mean?
Yeah. And when I
We just
got that
popped out our first child. I'll do whatever you want
yeah,
me to do.
right, right. And you're back to work. And
I've
I
just
yeah,
seen you be a superhero. I got you.
yeah, I can sacrifice a night, yeah.
I
But
know.
the bottom line is once I got that sleep and once I kind of reconnected the next time I went in and I was super flustered and frustrated, it was easier for me to go, "All right, I have a loving husband that's willing to help
Yeah,
me. I have coworkers around me that are supportive, that are willing
yeah.
to go to bat for me. I have a healthy child that, may have some stuff going on right now health-wise, but it's not
Yeah.
catastrophic and we can figure it
Mhm.
out. I
Mhm.
have I have my own health, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think and that took that was over the course of a week or 2, right? But
Mhm.
like you said, it doesn't take more than 5 seconds to just go, "Whew, all right,
Yeah.
I'm okay." And even those words, like you said, like when that happened with you, just remind yourself that you're okay
Mhm.
is a big thing. We just have
Yeah.
to remind ourselves that it's okay. We are okay.
Right. Because I think we think that if something like bad happens or something crazy is going on, I mean, we forget that that's just life. And
Yeah.
we forget that we're not all alone. Everybody deals with something. And so if I can convince myself, well, everybody else has it so great. Why am I the only
Mm.
one? Why I'm the only one falling out of my chair or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like everybody else is fine. They're all healthy and walking around. And so and so went to the gym, this morning or whatever. Or, um, whatever it is. I mean, I'm just equating my experience yesterday, but just everybody goes through stuff every day.
Mhm.
And so if we could just back up a minute, take a breath, and realize that we're all kind of in the same boat, we
Yeah.
could have a whole lot more grace for each other instead of like going through life just like honking the horn, you know?
Right, right. And then it ultimately creates connection, which is what we're really here to do, is to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
We are creatures made to connect and creatures
Hmm.
made to be in relationship with other creatures,
Hmm. Hmm.
for whatever relationship that is, whether it's coworker, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a mother, daughter, father, son, what you name the relationship. Like
Yeah.
we're meant to connect with people. We
Sure.
really are. So,
Right. But you have
yay.
to be at peace too before you can adequately um connect with somebody, which is why this exercise comes in
Right.
handy. Just take a minute and gain some perspective. It's all it is
Yeah.
grabbing some healthy perspective
And like
if
you
you
always
let
say
it.
yes, it's a choice, and here we go, we can go on that down that
Hmm.
road because I
Hmm.
think we always talk about it, like, probably 98% of the time, if I had to put a percentage on it, we talk about why is it that we know we have the choice to do this, but we somehow choose not to do it?
Hmm.
Why do we automatically go to that don't choose to do the thing that will help us feel better or the thing that will ground us? Why, if we know it, why don't we just make the choice to do it? What's the inhibitor? And we talk about this all the time.
Yeah. The inhibitor is it just takes you have to be aware. You have to take a
Mhm.
minute. Everything else is knee jerk, and that's pretty easy.
Right.
It's way easier for me to lash out than for me to like take a minute and just take a breath or walk away. Sometimes you just need to walk away and then
Right.
come back and because I can't control anybody else. I can only control myself. So if they're lashing out and then I'm reacting, then
Mhm.
it's just a recipe for disaster. So,
No, it's horrible, and then
yeah.
you can run that risk of ruining that relationship
Mhm.
because then you say things you don't need to say, and you have
Right.
reactions that aren't productive for yourself, for the relationship, for the other person involved or
Hmm.
other people involved, but I mean, let's just go back to basic about yourself, like, you
Hmm.
deserve to be centered, you deserve to be, level,
Yeah.
and understandably, life is always gonna be this, up and down, up and down, up and down,
Mhm.
but it's the choices that we have in reacting. It's our reaction versus what was it that I said the other
Like
day?
responding.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Reacting
Yeah, it
versus
it
how
ebbs and
we
flows.
respond versus
Yeah,
react. Yeah.
yeah. Life
Mhm.
ebbs and flows for sure.
Boy, yeah.
And we
Boy,
get to
yeah.
get caught in it. It's the always and the always and the never syndrome that I think keeps people stuck. Like, well, everybody always has this. I never get this. He's always this. He's never this. Well, it's never there's two things that you can always say and never say. It's always up and down and it's
Mhm.
never black or white. But other than that, you just got to let the always and nevers go
Yeah.
and say right now, um what how can I respond? What can I do? If I'm alone or if it's affecting other people, what can I do right now to
Yeah.
bring some peace to the situation, you
Yeah.
know?
And understand that you deserve to have peace.
Mhm.
No, you really do. No
Yeah.
matter what has happened in your day, no matter what you have done, no matter what you've gone through, I'm just gonna let you off the hook, guys. Everybody deserves to feel a sense of peace.
For sure.
And yeah, it has to start with you making that choice.
Mhm.
Reaction versus response or response versus reaction, however
Mhm.
you want to say it. Yeah. Let
Yep.
let those things go. Let them go.
Let them go.
Let it go. Let
Oh,
it
there you go.
There you go.
The snow does bother me anyway, so you say let it snow. It's not it snow, not let it go, but yeah.
Let us know. Yeah, it totally bothers me too. So I'm all for spring. So thank you,
Me
spring.
too.
Love it.
It just means that hot summer is on the way. Yes. Hot girl summer. I'm so excited.
Woo! Well, Dixie, thank you for sharing so vulnerably about what you went through. Just even with something simplistic as a fall, it can be it's charging for you. It's charging for us when we have something that literally knocks us off our feet.
Right? And it did.
Mhm.
That was the literal interpretation. So that's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all deserve to be happy. You deserve to have peace and you deserve full fulfillment and on every level. Absolutely.
Absolutely, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yay. Well, until
Yeah.
next week, guys, I'm Dawn.
I'm Dixie.
We'll see you again.
Yeah.